The months leading up to 2026 feel different, almost heavier, as if the world is quietly shifting beneath everyone's feet, while most people remain distracted by daily routines, screens, and noise. It's easy to overlook how fast everything is changing, but ignoring these changes won't slow them down. The pace of technology, the unpredictability of global events, the rise and fall of economies, and the constant flow of information have created a moment unlike any before it. People are connected more than ever while simultaneously becoming more divided, and this strange combination is shaping decisions, behaviors, and futures in ways that many won't fully understand until it's too late. That's why paying attention now matters. These next years are not just another stretch of time, they're a transition point, and how someone responds to this transition could determine what kind of life they walk into by the time 2026 arrives. Every major shift in history comes quietly first, like a whisper in the background, and only later becomes loud enough for everyone to hear. The whisper today is that the world is accelerating, and those who adapt will rise while those who hesitate may find themselves overwhelmed. Technology is becoming more powerful and unpredictable. Jobs are changing faster than education systems can keep up, and digital skills that were optional a few years ago are now becoming essential for survival. Artificial intelligence, automation, and global connectivity are not just trends, they're transforming how money is made, how opportunities appear, and how fast someone can lose everything or gain everything. Many people still treat these changes as distant or optional, but they are already shaping daily life. Someone who stays blind to this will feel the impact in the most painful ways. Limited choices, reduced income, rising stress, and a world that feels like it is moving too fast to grab onto. Awareness is no longer a luxury. It's becoming a requirement. Another thing people must understand before 2026 is how quickly stability can disappear. Economies around the world are shifting, and things once considered stable are becoming unpredictable. Prices increase, currencies fluctuate, and industries once filled with secure jobs are shrinking or transforming into something entirely different. It's not about fearing collapse, it's about noticing patterns. Success in the future won't come from waiting for things to return to normal, because the normal people knew is not coming back. The world is moving forward, not backward. Those who prepare mentally and financially will face fewer shocks, while those who expect everything to stay the same may feel blindsided. Preparation doesn't require panic. It requires awareness, flexibility, and a willingness to learn. Small decisions made today, learning a skill, setting aside savings, improving digital knowledge, building a better routine, can create enormous advantages later. Every person will enter 2026 with either a foundation or a weakness, and the difference between the two starts right now. There's also the growing influence of digital environments that people don't fully understand yet. Every tap, swipe, and click shapes behavior, emotions, and even decisions without most people realizing it. Algorithms track interests, fears, and habits, gradually controlling what someone sees and how they think. This makes it easier to be distracted, manipulated, or overwhelmed, especially during times of rapid change. Before 2026 arrives, it's important to break free from passive scrolling and start becoming intentional with time and attention. A person who controls their focus controls their future. Those who let technology control their attention risk being carried by currents they never chose. Awareness, discipline, and digital clarity will separate those who grow stronger from those who become lost in the noise. Relationships are also changing as the world evolves. People are becoming more isolated, even in crowded places, more connected online but disconnected in real life, and more pressured to appear successful rather than actually building a meaningful life. In the coming years, genuine connections and reliable communities will become even more valuable. Isolation makes people weaker, more stressed, and easier to influence. Strong relationships make people resilient. The world may feel unstable at times, but human connection remains one of the few things that can anchor someone during uncertainty. Investing in relationships now, family, friends, mentors, supportive groups, creates a safety net that money or technology can't replace. The people who thrive before and after 2026 will be the ones who build both skills and support systems, not those who try to face the world alone. Another truth that must be acknowledged before entering 2026 is the importance of mindset. The world doesn't reward fear or hesitation. It rewards adaptability, courage, and creativity. Every challenge in the next few years will also carry an opportunity, but only those who stay mentally strong will see it. When times become uncertain, people often react in two ways. They freeze or they evolve. Those who freeze wait for things to get easier, but by the time they react, the best chances have already passed. Those who evolve understand that uncertainty can be used as fuel. They treat change as a signal to learn faster, think clearer, and move smarter. This mindset is becoming one of the most valuable skills a person can have. The world is not slowing down. Minds must speed up. There's also the growing importance of personal responsibility. For years, many people lived in environments where someone else made decisions for them. Schools, bosses, systems, traditions. But the world is shifting into a period where individuals must make their own choices. Opportunities are increasingly self-created. Paths are no longer linear. Careers can be built from a laptop. Businesses can start from a phone. Knowledge is accessible to anyone willing to reach for it. But with this freedom comes responsibility. No one is coming to save anyone. Waiting for others to create a better future is no longer an option. Each person must take charge of their own direction, their own learning, their own growth. By 2026, the gap between those who take responsibility and those who avoid it will become wider than ever before. There is nothing mystical or exaggerated about the warning. It's simply a message that the world is changing faster than most people are preparing for. The years leading up to 2026 offer a window, short, powerful, and important. This window can be used to build a new life, transform habits, strengthen skills, and position oneself for opportunities. Or it can be wasted on distractions, complaints, and assumptions that everything will work out by itself. The truth is that the future favors those who prepare, not those who hope. By the time 2026 arrives, many people will look back and wish they had started sooner, but others will look back with gratitude that they paid attention when it mattered most. This is the moment to choose which person to become. The closer the world moves toward 2026, the more obvious it becomes that comfort is becoming one of the most dangerous traps. People often cling to familiar routines because they feel safe, even when those routines quietly limit their potential. Comfort hides risk. It convinces someone that tomorrow will look the same as yesterday, even though everything around them is shifting. Those who rely too heavily on comfort enter the future unprepared, unaware that the world has already rewritten the rules. That is why these next years demand a new kind of awareness, one that sees beyond daily habits and recognizes the deeper changes unfolding beneath the surface. What feels stable today could disappear tomorrow, and what feels uncertain today could become an advantage for those willing to adapt. The difference lies in attention, discipline, and the courage to move before movement feels easy. Many people believe they still have time, but what they truly have are opportunities disguised as responsibilities. Procrastination quietly steals futures, while convincing people that progress can wait. But the world is evolving too quickly for waiting to be safe anymore. Opportunities are no longer guaranteed to remain open for long. Jobs adapt, industries transform, new skills become essential overnight, and global connections shift at a pace that challenges traditional thinking. Before 2026 arrives, it's necessary to understand that timing is no longer flexible. The person who takes action now gains a head start that becomes nearly impossible for others to catch up to. Momentum matters. Those who start early build skills while others hesitate, form habits while others complain, and strengthen themselves while others remain distracted. The coming years will reward those who respect time, not those who waste it. A major change happening before 2026 is the transformation of how people earn, spend, and think about money. Inflation changes the value of every purchase. Technology creates new income paths while eliminating old ones. Global markets shift unpredictably, affecting everyone whether they notice or not. The danger isn't the change itself, it's failing to understand it. People who continue relying on outdated financial habits may find themselves struggling, not because they are incapable, but because they ignored the signs. The world is becoming more digital, faster, and less forgiving of those who remain uninformed. Learning how money works, understanding new economic patterns, and preparing early will become critical advantages. The future won't wait for someone to catch up. Financial awareness isn't about wealth. It's about survival, stability, and the ability to make choices instead of being forced into them. At the same time, the digital world is becoming more powerful and more manipulative. Everything from news to entertainment is designed to compete for attention, shaping how people think without them noticing. Algorithms thrive on distraction, and distraction destroys direction. Before 2026, it's important to regain control of attention, because attention shapes reality. Someone who spends hours scrolling through noise becomes consumed by noise. Someone who invests time in learning, planning, and improving gains clarity that others lack. The difference between success and stagnation often comes down to where a person directs their focus. Those who master their attention will navigate the coming years with strength. Those who allow their attention to be controlled will be influenced by forces they don't even realize are affecting them. There is also a growing shift in identity happening worldwide. People are questioning who they are, what matters to them, and where they belong. Traditional paths feel less certain. Old beliefs feel outdated, and new ideas are emerging faster than people can process. This has created a sense of confusion for many, but hidden within that confusion is a chance to redefine oneself. Before 2026, identity will become one of the most important tools a person can develop. Those who understand themselves, what they want, what they value, and what they stand for, will move confidently through a changing world. Those who lack self-awareness will be pulled in every direction by opinions, trends, and pressures. The coming years demand inner strength just as much as outer preparation. A strong identity becomes a compass when the world feels unpredictable. Another thing that must be acknowledged is the role of discomfort in growth. Many people fear challenges because they associate difficulty with failure. But the next phase of the world favors those who embrace discomfort as a sign of improvement. Every skill worth learning, every opportunity worth taking, every meaningful transformation begins with discomfort. The world is moving into an era where only those who push themselves will stand out. Comfort creates stagnation. Discomfort creates evolution. Before 2026 arrives, choosing discomfort on purpose, learning something new, breaking an old habit, building discipline, facing fears, will create advantages that become invaluable later. Growth doesn't come from ease, it comes from persistence. Relationships are also undergoing a shift as people become busier, more stressed, and more isolated. Digital communication provides convenience, but it doesn't always provide connection. Real relationships require time, presence, and effort. In the years ahead, meaningful connections will matter more than ever. Society is becoming more individualistic, but individuals become stronger when supported by the right people. The ability to trust, communicate, and collaborate will create opportunities that cannot be achieved alone. Before 2026, it is essential to strengthen relationships that uplift personal growth and distance oneself from those that drain energy or block progress. The environment someone builds around themselves influences their future as much as their personal choices do. Another quiet shift happening worldwide is the tension between speed and patience. The world demands fast action, but still rewards long-term thinking. This creates a challenge: how to act quickly while planning wisely. Those who rush without strategy burn out. Those who plan endlessly without action remain stuck. Success before 2026 will belong to those who balance both, fast decisions supported by clear vision. Learning how to move without hesitating and think without overthinking will become a powerful advantage. The world will continue accelerating, and only those who learn to accelerate with purpose will thrive. There is also a growing need for emotional resilience. Stress, uncertainty, and constant change can weaken anyone who isn't prepared. Emotional strength is not about ignoring feelings. It's about understanding them, managing them, and not allowing them to control decisions. The next few years will challenge people mentally and emotionally in ways they may not expect. Those who build resilience now will face these challenges with clarity instead of fear. They will make better decisions, maintain healthier relationships, and stay focused on long-term goals. Emotional resilience is becoming one of the most important forms of power a person can have. As the world approaches 2026, one truth becomes clear. The future will belong to those who prepare their mind, their habits, and their awareness. The transformations happening now are not temporary. They are shaping a new world that rewards adaptability, intelligence, discipline, and courage. Ignoring these changes won't stop them. Pretending everything will stay the same won't protect anyone. The only real safety comes from understanding the moment, preparing for what lies ahead, and committing to growth before circumstances force it. Those who take this warning seriously will walk into 2026 stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever. Those who don't may find themselves struggling to keep up with a world that no longer waits for anyone. The approach toward 2026 feels like walking toward a horizon that keeps widening, revealing new realities that were hidden just a short time ago. Every year, every month, even every week, seems to bring changes that challenge what people thought they understood about the world. But the real shift isn't happening on screens or in headlines. It's happening inside people themselves. There is a quiet pressure building, a sense that something bigger is approaching, something that will demand more clarity, more strength, and more awareness than before. Many feel it, but don't know how to describe it. They sense a turning point coming, but they distract themselves because acknowledging it means taking responsibility for what comes next. The years leading up to 2026 won't reward distraction. They will reward those who pay attention, because the world is entering a phase where only the prepared will feel steady while everyone else scrambles for stability. The next section of this shift lies in the changing meaning of opportunity. For generations, opportunity was predictable. Work hard, follow the rules, go to school, get a job, build savings, retire. That path is dissolving, not disappearing entirely, but changing so dramatically that relying on it now feels more like waiting for something that may never happen. By the time 2026 arrives, opportunities will not look like traditional jobs or predictable careers. They will emerge from creativity, adaptability, and digital understanding. People who cling to old systems will feel left behind, not because they lack talent, but because the world has moved into a new kind of economy, one built on speed, innovation, and independent thinking. The days when someone could avoid learning new skills and still survive comfortably are fading. The future belongs to those who keep learning, keep adjusting, and keep challenging themselves before circumstances force them to change. Another thing shifting rapidly is the way people communicate. Misunderstandings spread faster, opinions become louder than facts, and emotional reactions dominate calm reasoning. This has created a world where people are not just speaking, they are speaking past each other. Before 2026, the ability to communicate with intention, clarity, and emotional awareness will separate leaders from followers, creators from imitators, and thinkers from reactors. Communication is no longer just a soft skill. It is becoming a survival skill. Businesses, relationships, communities, and opportunities are all shaped by how well someone conveys ideas and how clearly they understand others. Those who master this will navigate the complexities of the future with ease, while those who rely on assumptions and emotional impulse will find themselves constantly misunderstood and misaligned. There is also a deepening conflict between digital life and real life. People spend hours shaping online versions of themselves while their real selves weaken from neglect. Digital success becomes more important than real success. Digital opinions feel more urgent than real conversations. Digital emotions take over real feelings. This imbalance erodes confidence, focus, and purpose. Before 2026, the most powerful thing a person can do is rebuild the connection between their inner world and their outer actions. Technology should support life, not replace it. The person who uses the digital world as a tool will grow stronger than ever, while the person who lives entirely inside it will continue to feel lost, restless, and unfulfilled. The future will demand presence. It will demand consciousness. It will demand a return to authenticity, because authenticity is becoming rare, a and because rarity becomes value, a major part of the upcoming shift involves self-discipline. Many want success without discomfort, growth without challenge, and progress without sacrifice. But the next era will not allow shortcuts. Every achievement will require consistency, patience, and effort. The world is becoming more competitive, not less. More demanding, not easier. Those who develop discipline, real discipline, will thrive. Those who rely on motivation alone will struggle. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. The difference between someone who reaches their goals before 2026 and someone who watches others succeed will come down to daily choices, waking up earlier, practicing longer, learning more, resisting distractions, and choosing long-term growth over temporary comfort. These small decisions stack into big transformations, and the people who start making them now will walk into a future they built intentionally rather than a future they stumble into by accident. Another silent transformation is happening in the way people think about truth. The world is filled with misinformation, emotional manipulation, and conflicting narratives. People argue passionately without knowing all the facts. They defend beliefs they never questioned. They follow opinions shaped by others rather than ideas shaped by their own thinking. Before 2026, independent thought will become one of the most powerful forms of protection. The ability to think clearly, question intelligently, and separate truth from noise will shape the direction of a person's life more than any external advantage. Independent thinking builds confidence, stability, and a sense of direction. Without it, people fall into confusion, anxiety, and doubt because they rely on external voices instead of their own mind. Global uncertainty is also influencing people in ways they do not fully understand. When the world feels unstable, people often respond by shrinking, limiting themselves, and avoiding risks. But history has shown that uncertainty is also the birthplace of opportunity. When systems shift, new paths open. When old industries weaken, new ones emerge. When society changes, new needs appear. Before 2026, those who develop the courage to take calculated risks will position themselves ahead of those who focus only on avoiding discomfort. Playing safe may feel secure now, but the future will reward those who take steps others hesitate to take. Learning a new field, starting a new project, building a new income stream, or pursuing a passion before it becomes crowded. Mental health will also play a major role in the years ahead. The pressure, speed, and unpredictability of modern life are affecting people deeply, even if they hide it. Stress, anxiety, and emotional fatigue are becoming normal for many, but normal doesn't mean healthy. Strength in the future will come from balance, rest, clarity, and emotional awareness. The strongest people will be those who know when to push and when to slow down, when to work and when to recover, when to hold on and when to let go. Ignoring mental well-being will lead to burnout, confusion, and impulsive decisions. Taking care of the mind will create resilience, focus, and long-term stability. Mental strength has always mattered, but before 2026, it will matter more than ever. As the world approaches 2026, the greatest advantage anyone can have is awareness. Awareness of themselves, their environment, their habits, and the changes happening around them. Awareness leads to preparation. Preparation leads to confidence. Confidence leads to opportunity. Opportunity leads to growth. The years ahead will not be easy for everyone, but they will be transformational for those who recognize the moment they are living in. Time is moving fast, and the world is shifting quickly. Those who adapt early, think clearly, act consistently, and protect their focus will rise. Those who wait for clarity will be left searching for stability in a world that has already changed. The warning isn't meant to create fear. It is meant to open eyes before the future arrives unannounced. The path to 2026 is already unfolding, and the choices made now will echo for years to come. The years leading into 2026 are creating a silent turning point that most people do not notice until it is already too late. Everything looks normal on the surface. People go to work, pay bills, scroll on their phones, and follow routines they've lived for years. But underneath this familiar rhythm, the world is shifting at a speed that is faster than at any time in recent history. Technology evolves daily. Economies fluctuate unpredictably, and global tensions rise and fall without warning. Nothing remains still for long. These changes are subtle at first, small enough to ignore, yet powerful enough to reshape everything once they fully unfold. What makes this moment so critical is not just the scale of transformation, but the way these transformations connect. Technology affects jobs, jobs affect income, income affects stability, stability affects mental health affects decision-making. Each shift feeds into the next, creating a chain reaction that builds quietly until it becomes impossible to ignore. Before 2026 arrives, this chain will stretch far enough to influence nearly every aspect of daily life, and the only way to stay ahead is to understand how quickly the world is moving. One of the biggest changes is that people no longer enter the future at the same pace. Some are accelerating, learning new skills, embracing new systems, and building habits that align with the world ahead. Others remain stuck in the past, holding on to beliefs and routines that no longer match reality. This gap grows wider every year. It doesn't show up in obvious ways at first. It starts in small differences: who learns faster, who adapts quicker, who breaks old patterns sooner, and who is willing to step outside of comfort. By the time 2026 arrives, these small differences will have compounded into a significant separation. Those who evolve now will feel prepared, confident, and capable. Those who delay will feel overwhelmed, lost, and pressured by changes they never prepared for. The world is shifting from rewarding tradition to rewarding adaptability. It is shifting from valuing memorized knowledge to valuing creative problem solving. It is shifting from slow progress to constant reinvention. These shifts create a new kind of race, a race not against other people, but against time, habits, and old ways of thinking. The winners will be those who choose evolution over comfort. Another silent transformation involves how people define success. In the past, success was measured by predictable milestones: a stable job, a steady income, a comfortable routine, and a sense of long-term security. But predictability is becoming rare. Job security is no longer guaranteed. Traditional career paths are being replaced by flexible, skill-based systems that reward those who can adapt quickly. Success in the future will not come from following a fixed path. It will come from building the ability to switch paths when needed. This requires creativity, resilience, and a willingness to learn constantly. Many people still cling to the idea that success is something external: a job title, a salary, a degree, but the world ahead will reward internal qualities: persistence, emotional intelligence, discipline, and adaptability. Before 2026, it is important to redefine what success means personally, rather than relying on definitions created decades ago. Those who redefine success early will recognize opportunities others overlook because they are not trapped by outdated expectations. Another growing reality is the importance of self-awareness. The world is filled with noise, opinions, predictions, arguments, and distractions that pull attention in every direction. Without self-awareness, it becomes nearly impossible to navigate these distractions. People react impulsively, get pulled into negativity, follow trends they do not believe in, and make decisions based on pressure rather than clarity. Self-awareness allows a person to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their motives, and their direction. Without it, the world feels chaotic. With it, the world becomes understandable, even in uncertain times. Before 2026, developing self-awareness will be one of the most valuable forms of preparation. It guides choices, protects energy, strengthens identity, and helps create consistent progress. Those who know themselves will not be easily manipulated by digital noise, emotional pressure, or social expectations. They will move through uncertainty with confidence, while others hesitate. Another major factor unfolding ahead of 2026 is the rising importance of learning. The world no longer rewards what someone learned 10 years ago. It rewards what someone is learning today. Every market, every industry, and every skill category is evolving. The ability to learn quickly, unlearn outdated habits, and relearn new approaches will decide who grows and who falls behind. This is not limited to technology. It applies to communication, creativity, discipline, mental strength, and emotional intelligence. The people who treat learning as a daily habit will be ready for whatever the future brings. Those who treat learning as something optional or occasional will feel overwhelmed when the world demands new skills they never developed. Learning is no longer a phase, it is becoming a lifestyle. The final transformation leading into 2026 is the importance of action. In a world filled with information, many people confuse knowing with doing. They watch motivational videos, read quotes, plan goals, and dream about better futures, but they take little action. Without action, nothing changes. The world ahead will reward execution, not intention. It will reward consistency, not occasional effort. It will reward those who turn ideas into results. Before 2026 arrives, the most life-changing shift someone can make is committing to real action, small daily steps, repeated consistently, that build momentum over time. Action builds confidence. Action builds discipline. Action creates opportunities that planning alone never will. The people who embrace action now will enter 2026 with strength, clarity, and direction. The people who delay action will enter the future playing catch-up in a world that no longer slows down for anyone. The warning isn't meant to create fear. It is meant to create awareness. The years leading into 2026 are a rare moment where preparation can change everything. These years will define who rises, who adapts, and who remains stuck. The future is already forming, and every choice made now echoes forward. Those who take this moment seriously will step into 2026 with momentum and confidence. Those who ignore it may find themselves facing a world they no longer recognize. The time to prepare isn't later, it's now.